Hey, what's going on guys? It is Jack here, and today I'm showing you another LEGO MOC. This one is probably my most ambitious one ever, and that's not because of its size, it's because of its shape. You'll see it has a lot of cool angles and techniques that I'll get into later on in the video, so if you want to see how I made those, stick around. But without further ado, let's jump right in. Right off the bat, you'll see this thing is meant to be in the tropics. I put this thing on beachfront property, so the water goes all the way up to the house, which is kind of dangerous if you think a hurricane will hit it or something like that, but it doesn't really matter because this is just LEGO and they're all plastic figures getting hit by other plastic things. I use sand green for the grass because I love the color and I have a bunch of it. The water is using my favorite water technique ever. It's the dump method because it's really easy to clean up and it looks really cool. And sitting on that water is the first angled portion of the building. This is the office area. It has a pretty cool technique that allows the roof to match up evenly with the walls. Thank goodness LEGO geometry is a thing because it allows me to add things at angles like this with no gaps whatsoever. The second floor is about the same as the first floor. There's just a lot less windows, and the main attraction for say is the angled triangular prism window thing that just juts out of the side of the building. And again, I'll show you how I built this at the end of the video after I go inside. But moving along to the side and the back of this build, you'll see on the wall I used a bunch of brown textured bricks in a checkerboard pattern because I love the way that thing looks. Along the back wall, you'll see I used a bunch of dark red to make that little corner of the house. I didn't put a whole lot of effort into the back, or I guess I should say pieces, because that's the real story. I did not want to waste my windows along the back where you'll rarely ever see them. I wanted to make sure the front looks spectacular, and I only have so many brown windows. Moving on inside, you'll see there is an office on the angled portion of this build. There's a carpeted flooring that kind of curves out into the hardwood floor. It's not the smoothest transition, but the hinge plates were a little bit difficult to work with, so I think it's sufficient. There's a pretty cool desk build with a nifty chair design, at least in my opinion. There's also a coffee maker along the wall, so you can stay up late or do work in the morning like a weirdo. The kitchen is pretty basic compared to my other ones. It's using the same flooring design as in my latest coffee shop. I'll leave that link down below and in the top right hand corner if you want to check that out. But this kitchen has all the basics. It's got a fridge, a sink, an oven, a stovetop, and some snot techniques that allow a bunch of drawers and cupboards to be all over the place. And then the last thing for the downstairs is the living room. The couch matches the kitchen flooring, so I love the way that works out. There's some plants in either corner, and then there's a curved TV on the wall with a backdrop this time to make it pop a little bit more. Moving on upstairs, this is probably the most empty portion of the entire MOC. There's just a bed in the corner and a dresser on the opposite side. You do get to see that textured wall though, so I do like the way that back wall looks. There's also a tiny bathroom on the opposite corner that matches the bed. There's nothing but a toilet in there and a simple sink build. Other than that, that's all for the upstairs, except for the viewing area, which is my favorite part of this entire MOC. There's a lot of effort that went into this. It's using a bunch of black plates that I never use. They all have some sort of weird angle on them, and I attached them with one headlight brick so I could rotate them to make a pretty cool triangle shape. And lastly, I designed a divider between the two window sections. It's a Technic bar with a rubber piece on top that uses friction to hold it in place. Nothing too advanced, but it does work very, very well. That is all for this MOC though, so if you did enjoy, I will leave a link to the playlist of my other houses. That way you can check those out. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a thumbs up down below, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to see more MOCs like this. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and most importantly, take care, guys.